How's it going? I'm Micah Rock and Roll, and today we're going to flip through the brand new translation of the hit 90s racing manga, Initial D. Now, last time I wore a comic book hat. Today, I think it's time I put on my manga hat that I am too embarrassed to wear outside for many reasons. All right, let's get started. What the hell? What is my original art for my next comic doing here? This isn't going to be ready until issue 2 of Orange Flavor. Let me get this out of here. Oh, yeah, if you don't know, Orange Flavor is my alt comedy comic anthology. It's on sale for the incredible low price of $4.99 right now at orangeflavor.fun. Forgot my own URL for a second there. Orangeflavor.fun. You can find a beautiful print copy like this one, or a pay what you want digital, including $0 if you're a scumbag. Let's get this out of here. I don't know what that's doing here. All right, let's flip through Initial D. This copy I came across at Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese bookstore here in New York and, other places. I didn't know anything about Initial D other than it was a racing manga and that it was super popular. I'm not a car guy. I do not watch racing of any kind. But I had heard it was good, obviously, and I said, you know what? Let's just grab it. Let's see what it's all about. I'm glad I did because it's fantastic. So if you're watching this and you're like, I don't really care about racing, does not matter. You will enjoy this, I promise. Real quick, cool thing. I can never remember the name, Kinokuniya. When I bought this on a whim, they said, oh, it comes with shikishi. I was like, what's a shikishi? A shikishi is basically a postcard-sized cool image here. Gets a couple cuties and a cool car. Signed, believe printed on, not like actually signed by the mangaka, but still cool. It came with this. What I like about it is it's not flimsy. It has some, it's like a thick cardboard, so it kind of feels substantial. It's not just like a flimsy postcard. And it made me want to make my own for when I go to table at conventions. I think it would be a cool thing that you could hand out to special customers who tickle your fancy. Anyway, let's open this up. This is super fun. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it is an awesome manga. So this manga follows Takumi, a Japanese high schooler who lives in a mountain town and drives this 8-6, as they call it, for his tofu delivery job. His dad owns a tofu store. He's a tofu delivery boy who just happens to be super badass at driving because his father was a former racer. Takumi isn't necessarily a racer. He doesn't think of himself as a racer, but he's super good. We find that out as we read. This is Takumi's love interest. This is Takumi's best friend, who's the comedic relief. This comic, it feels similar to the shonen style of like super good protagonist who's not super good as like he's a good person, but like protagonist who's super good at something, and then rivals showing up increasingly strong rivals showing up to challenge him, and he has to defeat them. But what I like about it is that it is considered a what is it, seinen manga, which means, as far as I can tell, Shonen Jump is like equivalent to like a PG rating, quote unquote. Doesn't work perfectly, but you get the idea. This is more like a PG-13 rating. So what I like about that, it means all these high school boys get to, curse and be stupid and horny and kind of realistic high schoolers, which is fun. It's not as sanitized. So they're saying the S word left and right. They're smoking cigs. They're messing with each other. They're talking about how hot these girls are and how horny they are for them. So it's fun. It's like it reminds me of like Superbad or something, where it's like you get to see these characters be true to life, and that high school boys are a little bit scumbags, sort of. But yeah, everyone in this comic is obsessed with drifting and street racing, and Takumi doesn't know anything about it and is not interested. But his cool father, who we meet, who's friends with this guy who owns the gas station Takumi and his friends work at, they are all former racers. So Takumi's father basically taught him to race in order to get the tofu deliveries done at a reasonable hour before his school started or whatever. Here we see Takumi defending the honor of this girl he, I guess, has a crush on, although he doesn't seem to be aware of it himself, because her boyfriend at the time was being gross and doing a locker room talk, literally in a locker room, being like like, this is what I'm talking about being like a little bit older and like truer to life. He's like talking about this cute, sweet girl. He's like, that Suki's hot as hell. She's gotten way better at giving head. I make sure she gets plenty of prac. Like, he's a total like douche, and all the guys are like, whoa, cool. Yeah, so that pisses off Takumi, and he punches him out. And because of that, she hears about this, and that makes her like Takumi, and then she kind of pursues him through the story, which is fun. It's it's the reversal of a lot of manga I read, where the dude is like a dork, and he's like, oh, beautiful woman, I want you. Instead, the cute girl wants the cool racer, and he's like, what? That's the other thing that's funny to me, is this dude is like, they're constantly just saying he's like spaced out and like dazed and not paying attention, which is a funny character trait of just being like a bored high school dipshit who doesn't care about anything. And then his friends like forcing him to get into racing. Very fun characters. They feel very real. More real than your usual manga characters. The other thing I like about this is that the art is like scratchy or something. Like, the way these dudes are like, heads are structured, like it doesn't feel like a super polished Shonen Jump style manga. Like, look at the way he draws ears. It's just like a bunch of like like scratchy half circles. Like, he's not even attempting to like make it look like a real ear. Like, he's just kind of, and like the folds and the clothing are kind of like scratched in there, pasted on. Like, I'm not saying the artwork is bad. I like the way it looks, but I like when art looks like it gives you hope. Like, oh shit, like if I could write something that's like a genuinely good story, it won't matter if my art isn't the most polished, perfect, like commercial looking line or whatever, because the product is just genuinely good. Just fun to read. The other thing I noticed is I'm convinced the way he draws cars, because they're like picture perfect, I think he has a bunch of, this is my theory, I think he has a bunch of toy cars, like not toy, but like detailed, realistic models of the types of cars he wants the characters to have. He takes photographs of them and light boxes them, or just like, I don't know if he just eyeballs them. I think he is kind of like light boxing, which is where you take a photo, put it down on this bright box, and then you put paper on top, and then you can go over it. Quote unquote tracing, but I don't know. It doesn't like, you gotta like, when you're making a comic, especially a Japanese manga where their deadlines are insane, you got to take shortcuts. And like, I don't know. I don't understand this like feeling like you got to prove something by being able to draw a car perfectly in perspective from memory. Like, I guess if that's how you want to spend all your time focused drawing time focusing on that, like, I guess go for it. But if you want to tell a cool story that you have to get 20 pages done every single week, you're gonna light box photos of cars like that, that you took at the very least. So I don't have an issue with that. I don't think it's cheating or lame or anything like that. I just think I think it's smart. I think it's the way to go if you're trying to like make a cool story about driving, and you are kind of a scratchy, not perfectly polished commercial artist. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But these are these local racers from the mountain over who've come to Takumi's mountain to challenge these other racers to a friendly, quote unquote, race down the hill. They're from the Red Suns. These two are brothers, and they're like cool badasses who are really good at driving. And nobody on the I can't remember the name of their racing team, but it's Takumi's local racing team that he's not on yet. None of them are good enough to beat these guys, and they all kind of know it. And they're worried, like, God, who's going to race against them? Well, none of us are good enough to beat them. It's going to be terrible. They're going to shame us on our own turf, like that kind of a vibe. But while this kid who's challenged the local racers, while he's out practicing late one night, all of a sudden this 8.6, the Panda 8.6, they keep calling it because it's a black and white paint job. The Panda 8.6 comes out of nowhere and is keeping up with him, and he can't believe it. Like, who the hell is this guy? I didn't see him at the race meetup. Like, who is this dude? He's a mystery. He's super good. The only thing I wish this comic did was, like in a video game, when you have like a map of the course, I wish they had a box of like a bird's eye view of the mountain road they're going down, so that you could like get an idea of where they are, what the turns look like. I think that would be a cool just added bonus of like being able to see what they're, racing so crazily down, being able to see the track and be like, oh shit, they got a crazy turn coming up. I just think it would add a little something to this. But instead it's usually very close up images like this where you see the turns, but like I want to see the whole track. But it still works. Very fun. You get these Fast and Furious style cut-ins to like shifting and the motors exploding and all that. Classic. Oh shit. The inertia drift? And he speeds past him. So this is a little moment where you get to see Takumi be a badass. And then we meet up with the love interest again. I forget her name. Mogi, I think that's what they call her. But she wants to go on a trip with him to the beach, and he agrees. Oh, here's your Teen Beat pinup of Takumi with his car for all you love-struck young high school girls. Again, everyone's smoking this. I love it. It's so funny. Just like, yeah, smoking and driving's all I care about. I just want to go fast. He's a fun character. He's the, like I said, his best friend, the comedic relief. He's like the Jonah Hill of the Superbad duo. He's always being a little bit much, yelling, getting overly excited, overly, just too much. But yeah, this super entertaining. I ripped, this is like, I think it's like 450, 460 pages. I tore through this thing. I have a bunch of other comics that I was meaning to read first. And I just was like, let me just see what this is like. I started reading it on the train, and everything else took a backseat. I started reading this nonstop. I read it in like maybe 3 days. When I should have been doing other things. So it's a very addictive kind of story. Like they're very good at leaving you on cliffhangers, so you just gotta read the next chapter. And they do the dirtiest trick ever so this is 2 volumes. They end volume 1 right before the first race. So you have like, if you were buying this in if you were in Japan when it first came out and you just bought volume 1, you'd have such bad blue balls for the next episode because you want to see the actual race happen, obviously. They do it twice. So volume 1 ends right before his first race, and then volume 2 starts with the race, and you get to see that. And then they introduce a new challenger, and volume 2 ends right before that race. So it's very like, gotta tune in next time. Gotta buy the next installment. Oh yeah, there's your panty shot. Classic. It's the only one in here, I think, actually. Score, another peek. Again, everyone's like a little horny pervert. It's classic. High school morons. It's great. Yeah, and she's got a big crush on him because he white knighted her in the boys' locker room. He's a great character. This is Takumi's dad. He's a real badass. The way he trained his son was he puts a cup of water in the cup holder of the car, and he makes him drive as fast as he possibly can without spilling any of the water. And that's how he becomes a great driver. This is Takumi's imagination of what how good her old boyfriend must have been at sex. Again, a little older than your your typical Shonen Jump story, which is a nice breath of fresh air when you're mostly used to reading those. This feels a little bit older, not like hardcore or anything like that, but like it just feels like a realer depiction of these types of personalities than you would get in a Shonen Jump story. Again, like, that's from reference. There's no way you're drawing this perfectly from your brain. So if you, as an artist, use reference, don't feel bad. So do super talented, successful storytellers the world over. The head of Takumi's racing team crashes. Oh no, that means he can't compete. Who's gonna race in his place? He's the best one. And those challengers are so good. What can they possibly do? You know what they're gonna do. Takumi's gonna get dragged into it. The other thing about his personality, he's like, he doesn't give a shit about driving. He thinks of it as a chore because he has to do it for his job, delivering tofu, and doesn't care about racing, and doesn't know anything about cars either. It pisses everybody off that he's like totally, he doesn't even know that they keep calling, it's like Truno, I think is the name of the model, but all the racer guys call it an 8.6. And then they find out he has one. They're like, why are you acting like you don't know what an 8.6 is? He's like, it's a Trudeau. You're telling me that they're the same thing? Like, he has no clue about anything. They play that up a lot to the point of almost stupidity. But it's funny. And then it's cool to see him, like, realize he does like driving, that he likes being good at it, and that he starts to think of himself as a racer towards the beginning of, or towards the end of this volume, or end of the second volume, excuse me. I'll flip till we get to some shots of the race, and then we'll wrap there, I think. But yeah, this is oh yeah, there's something really weird going on. Like, they don't show this girl's father, and they just talk about, like, he's always talking about how hot she looks. Like that. I don't know what's gonna come of that. If it's like revealed it's like a stepfather who's like horny for a stepdaughter. I don't know what's going on with that. Feels very Japanese. I guess we'll find out as the story goes. Yeah, but other than that, totally normal, non-incestuous tale of a young man who finds out he enjoys racing. No, but this, Mount Akina. Yeah, that's the mountain they live on. And all the racing groups are based around mountains because they have those hairpin turns and crazy roads. And they wait till late at night when no one else is on the road and they race. And so everybody has their claimed mountain that they hang out on. And then they go to other people's mountains and challenge them and try and like beat people on their own home turf. So that's the kind of the world the comic takes place in. And it's super entertaining. Like I say, I read this entire thing over a period of a couple days, just ripping through it 100 pages at a sitting. Super fun. I highly, highly recommend you pick this up. This is, I guess, a new translation. I guess there was an out-of-print translation from years ago. But this is brand new. Like, this came out a couple months ago. I just ordered Omnibus 2, if that's any indication of how entertaining Omnibus 1 was. And I believe Omnibus 3 is coming out this month in August of 2024, I think towards the end of the month. So the third Omnibus isn't even out yet. So that's how fresh this comic is. That's why I had to jump on this and make a video, for clicks. Because it's timely, new. And also because it's genuinely awesome. And I wanted to tell people about it. Again, you don't have to like racing at all. You don't have to know anything about cars. It is about that, but it's also just entertaining on its own. Like, you like the characters, you like the situations, you want to see what happens next. It's not necessarily just about the racing, even though the racing is cool and fun. I've never seen Tokyo Drift, but I wonder if they have an 8.6 in it referencing this, because I know this is super popular. In fact, this at the end of this book, or maybe it was at the beginning, I don't remember, but it says that apparently this was so popular when it first came out in Japan that model of car, the 8.6, became very, like, used ones became really expensive because everybody wanted one all of a sudden. They were just getting bought up like crazy. So they ended up getting popular, which is funny. And it makes sense. Like, as you're reading this, you're like, that's a cool car. I like that car. Even though I don't know anything about cars, I'm like, I would like to have a toy model of this car. It's a cool car. They make you like the cars, which is pretty interesting as a person who doesn't really care about cars. This character, he shows up at the race and he watches and he understands how Takumi is doing his tricks and decides he's going to challenge him next. We don't even know his name yet. Mysterious. He's not part of either of those racing crews. Who could he be? Where is he from? Gonna have to keep flipping to find out, bro. I think we should leave it there. And one more. But yeah, highly recommended. Very fun. They have a notes about, like, all the car speak. If you don't know what the hell an FR is, what the hell an FC is, or a hairpin, or inertia drift, or four-wheel drift, or understeer and oversteer. They explain all these car terms that are sprinkled, racing terms that are sprinkled throughout Initial D, Omnibus 1. So yeah, there's your little flip through. Super entertaining, very fun, highly recommended. I'm excited to read volume Omnibus 2. Good value, about $20 with shipping, gets you 450 pages. Check it out, Initial D. And after you check it out, check out Orange Flavor. This is my alt comedy anthology. One man, I did it all. Writing, drawing, everything. It's on sale right now for $4.99. Can you believe that? $4.99? It's a steal, folks. I'm going broke at these prices. You can find it at... Why do I keep forgetting my URL? You can find it at orangeflavor.fun. fun. And again, there is a digital version if you'd like to check it out. Just pay what you want, including $0. I'd appreciate it if you threw me something, but you know, I understand if you're poor, like the characters in the story. Poor. Check it out. I would really appreciate it. You can also follow, subscribe at orangeflavor.fun, and you'll receive very occasional emails with illustrations and new comics and all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and get yourself a copy of Initial D. And if you've made it this far, do me a favor, click that like button and subscribe so we can be friends, baby. Come back next time. It's going to be fun.